Trade deadline is quickly approaching here for the NFL season. I believe it's sometime next week, early next week, so it's coming up really soon. So the Arizona Cardinals has an opportunity to make their team better wherever they see any flaws, to see if they can go ahead and trade some capital, to see if they can get some other players from other teams. Now, in this specific episode, we're going to focus on the defensive line to see if there's any players on the defensive line that the Arizona Cardinals can really use. That's what we're going to talk about today, guys. Let's go ahead and roll that intro. Guys, welcome back to another video of the AZ Sports Fan. Thank you so very much for coming back, guys. I really do appreciate it. Now, go ahead and just do me one big favor. If you're new, please consider subscribing to the AZ Sports Fan, where we have an open discussion with anything trades, any post-game reactions, anything like that, anything to do with the Arizona Cardinals. That's what we talk about here today. So make sure you drop a like on this video as well. I really do appreciate it. Like I mentioned in the intro, the trade deadline is coming very fast. We're looking around November 3rd, which is going to be Tuesday of next week. Now, there's three positions that I really do feel like the Arizona Cardinals do need some help in. Now, that's going to be the quarterback position, which is the DB position, the defensive line, as well as the offensive line as well. Now, on this specific episode, we're going to focus solely on the defensive line. Now, if you want me to go ahead and continue with DBs and offensive line to see who's out there, go ahead and drop a like on this video and let me know in the comments below as well. Whenever you start looking to players that might get traded, that's on the trading block, is you start looking at teams that are not doing so well this far in the season. Now, obviously, the first thing I looked at was the NFC East teams. Now, that's going to be the Cowboys, the Washington football team, and those other two teams as well. I think the Eagles and Cowboys still might think they have a chance to get into the playoffs. Obviously, that division is completely open. Maybe even the Washington football team as well. But I started to look at those specific teams. Maybe they want to get some capital for this coming draft. Obviously, when you think of the defensive lineman, you want to think young type of players that are out there that are producing very well, like your Grady Jarrett's from Atlanta Falcons, which aren't doing so well as a team. You also have DJ Reader, which I believe he's with the Cincinnati Bengals, which honestly, they have a really good, promising young quarterback in Joe Burrow at the very moment. But I don't think right now they're in a win mode type of mentality. But whenever you start thinking about those young players being like 26, 27 years old, those two are still currently under contracts, and I believe they're going to get paid pretty well next year, and I don't think the Arizona Cardinals want to find themselves in that situation. Now, if they do, I'm all up on board if they find some sort of cap, because we do need to find some interior pressure, but I feel like those are players that we don't want to touch at the very moment. I know it sucks to say, but the Arizona Cardinals are probably going to start looking at players that are going to be more veterans, maybe 29, 30, 31, around that type of age, because I feel like they're going to be a lot cheaper to get one of those players as opposed to getting your Grady Jarrett's or DJ Reader, something along those lines. So the first player I wanted to go ahead and announce being Carlos Dunlap. Now, he's 31 years old. He had an amazing career within the NFL, but the Cincinnati Bengals currently right now, I don't think they're in a win now mode. He does play defensive end, so I'm really excited to maybe get him. I know currently we do have Marcus Golden just waiting to kind of come in, so we do have that aspect, but I've noticed that we've been getting injured a lot on the defensive line, whether it's Zach Allen. I heard something even about Jordan Phillips might be hurt as well. Now, I think this bye week came out in a perfect time, especially with the trade deadline coming out next Tuesday. So we can definitely go ahead and dive in to really look to see if there's players out there. Now, granted, we don't have the best capital for this coming 2021 draft. I believe we're missing a 4th round pick as well as a 6th round pick as well. So we really got to go ahead and take that with a grain of salt and really figure out who's out there, what we can get for them. But yeah, there's rumors out there that Carlos Dunlap was available on the trading block, so he might be a possibility for the Arizona Cardinals to really look into getting a veteran out there. I do feel like once your D-line's a little bit more established, he could definitely do a little bit more disruption. But nevertheless, as of right now, he's probably the least attractive to me at this very moment as far as stats goes. But Carlos Dunlap is available to trade for. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, this next player, I feel like he's been, mock traded to go to a lot of different teams. He's none other than Ryan Kerrigan. He's 32 years old. He plays for the Washington football team. He's very intriguing. I feel like when we played him, earlier into the season. I feel like he was always disrupting our offensive line. So I honestly like the idea of Ryan Kerrigan. Now, it really just depends on what these other teams are going to be offering for Ryan Kerrigan at this point. Because they are, older vets, I can definitely see us probably offering like a 7th or maybe even a pick for the 2022 draft. I can definitely see the Arizona Cardinals doing that because you don't want to give up too much of your farm as of right now. Currently, we're sitting with a 1st pick, 2nd pick, 3rd pick, 5th, and a 7th. Now, granted, that's 5 out of the 7 picks, but nevertheless, whenever you want to have an opportunity, whenever you want to move up, you do want to have the capital to give that up as well, especially if there's a player like Buda Baker out there that you want to go ahead and get into your team that you want to pull the trigger on come draft night. But I like Ryan Kerrigan. He's a really, really dominant defensive end as well, especially for his age. I feel like he's still producing. I don't think the sacks are quite there as far as stats go for this year right now, but their defensive line on the Washington football team is beastly, and I feel like Ryan Kerrigan is a big part as to why they are so good at the very moment. So I wouldn't mind getting his type of talent for the Arizona Cardinals, especially like on that cheap deal that's going on whenever we give them like a pick that they can be comfortable with and hopefully outbid a lot of different teams. But I do like the production from Ryan Kerrigan, and I feel like that would make our defensive line just that much better. And now the last player I wanted to go ahead and bring up is none other than J.J. Watt out of the Houston Texans. Now, he's probably the most intriguing to me specifically. He's 31 years old. He had an awesome, dominant NFL career with the Houston Texans, but I feel like they're at the tank now type of situation, or maybe they're not trying to tank, but they're just not very a good team, especially now that they traded DeAndre Hopkins out there, their star wide receiver that's now sitting with the Arizona Cardinals, which I'm excited about. But nevertheless, I don't think that they're a team that's going to be trying to push for the playoffs at this very moment. So needless to say, J.J. Watt might be on the move and going to a different team. Now, like I said before, he's 31 years old, but he's had a really dominant career within the NFL, a good disruptor. He's a big body type individual that can bat balls down. If he's not able to get to the QB, he can definitely bat those balls down, which I'm excited about that. JJ Watt might probably be the riskiest move of them all. Now, high reward, biggest risk in my opinion, because obviously JJ Watt has not had the most healthiest of seasons ever. So to land JJ Watt would be awesome, spectacular, breaking news type of thing. But we also got to take that to a grain of salt as well, that JJ Watt had a lot of years where he was injured, especially later into his season as well. So we got to take that into consideration as well, that JJ Watt might get traded to a team, but he might not last the entirety of the season. So got to keep that in mind as well. And that would suck to lose at a draft pick, to only use them 3 to 4 or 5 different games when we really need them, in the playoff push, trying to get into the playoffs for the Arizona Cardinals. Definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm super curious to figure out what you guys think. If any of those 3 players, Carlos Dunlap, Ryan Kerrigan, JJ Watt, are you guys intrigued about any of those players, and what would you give up for any of those players? Now, in my personal opinion, I don't have a specific draft pick for any of them, but honestly, I would love to give a later round in the 2021 draft or in the 2022 draft, maybe a 3rd, a 4th, something along those lines. But I'm not going to give up a 1st or a 2nd round pick. Not for this coming year or the year after. It's too rich. For a veteran for 31 years old, it's just too rich for my blood at this point. But definitely let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you guys think? And if you're new, please consider subscribing to the AZ Sports Fan on YouTube, guys. But that's all I got for this episode. Thank you so very much, and I'm out.